This is Hipliving, live at Comcast Studios here in Richmond, Virginia. It's April the 15th, 2016. And you know, on some of my earlier programs, we talked about a lot of inspirational, healthy, inspirational stuff, and we focus a whole lot on the inspirational, positive things. We want to get back into some healthy things. Now, last year when I launched Hipliving, I talked about a pretty disturbing statistic regarding the city of Richmond, Virginia, which surprised a whole lot of people and actually shocked me about the state of the city of Richmond regarding its health. The fact that Richmond, Virginia was actually ranked number 3 in the United States of America when it came to obesity. Now, that was probably sometime around 2012, 2013. But you know what? Things have gotten much, much better, thanks to the likes of the people that I'm going to have as my guests on today's program. They are a part of RVA Fit Warriors, started by sports backers. My special guest on today's program of Hipliving is Miss Amy Green and Tasha Brooks. Thank you for coming on Hipliving.
Thank us for having us.
Okay. Yeah, and speaking of sports backers, you know, sports backers is ranked number 1 as a sports commission in the United States of America. They was recognized for that. And want to get a little bit more into the RVA Fit Warriors and my guests on today's program. What I'd like to ask you, and start with you, Amy, and also with you, Tasha, how did you come into the RVA Warriors program?
Well, Sports Backers, in partnership with the Anthem Foundation and the Richmond City Health District, they believe that Richmond should be a healthy city, and they believe regardless of where you live, your income and what have you, that you should be able to have access to a health program. Wow. And so their partnership, they brought about bringing classes to different areas of the community, free classes in churches, recreation centers, and what have you.
Okay, that's great. So what I gather, Tasha, is what they're talking about is underserved communities, because when you think about Richmond, Virginia, you do have some underserved communities. Specifically, what are some of the communities that you work in, that you two work in?
Myself, I'm at 6th Baptist, which is in the West End area near Berry Park.
Okay.
And Amy is on Laburnum,
Okay.
at a church also.
Okay.
But we have them at Blackwell Community Center.
Okay.
We have them at another church that's on...
Yeah, we serve Petersburg,
Okay.
Hopewell, Charles City,
Okay.
North Side, South
Okay.
Side, so all over the metro area and surrounding areas.
Okay.
where those people may not have that access to go to the gym,
Right.
have time to go to the gym.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. In fact, I had my own history with the program. I remember meeting Ricky Martin. He's a part of it.
Yes.
And that was one of the things that they wanted to emphasize, you know, as far as, you know, some underserved areas. And like you just said, you can't always get to a gym or have access to a fitness instructor. Now, let's get into details how each one of you specifically got involved in the program of the Fitness Warriors.
Okay. Well, what they do, what Sports Backers does is they, it's an application process, and you come into it if they look for people that are passionate about exercise and healthy living, and you go through an application process, and they select candidates to go through the process and potentially be a fitness warrior. And we are trained in health and fitness and trained for months, and then we teach classes in the community and eventually sit forward to become a certified group fitness instructor.
Oh, I got you. Okay. So like you said, they take you through the process.
Yes.
They do take you through those steps and everything. They work with you and everything.
They give us all the tools, train us once or twice a month.
Become certified. I like that idea. That's a great idea, because like you said, in a lot of these underserved communities, you don't have access to fitness instruction and everything. A lot of your more advanced, or whatever you want to call it, facilities are usually located on the outskirts and the suburbs and so on. So that's a great thing.
Yes.
Are there any particular specific areas that you work in as far as your fitness instruction?
For me, I deal with high, low impact, and as well as Zumba.
Okay. And you, Tasha?
I like high and low cardio,
Okay.
and we do a lot of strength training, which is position holding.
Okay.
And I like the folk I work with. I like the target that I was aiming for is not the target that I got, but I fell in love with the target that I got, which is the elders.
Okay.
I love them.
Okay, and you mentioned something because that's a great thing because people are living longer.
Yes.
People are living longer.
Yes.
And when you talk about the elderly, you know, you go to the hospital, especially with arthritis and some of those ailments, they specifically advocate that they exercise. But you talk about the strength part, which is important because when you're dealing with arthritis, a lot of people presume aerobic, which aerobics isn't bad, but as you get older, you're dealing with arthritis, you're dealing with the bones, and you need to develop the muscles, you know, to compensate for that. So that's a great thing. Okay, now, when you're a fitness instructor, I know this for myself being a fitness instructor, and what really works for people. We all have our, what I call personal testimony, and coming into the fitness lifestyle. I just want you to kind of share that with the people out there in the viewing audience, because I know I saw something on your website, which is great, because a lot of times who's best at helping someone who may be in a particular situation than someone who's been through that. So I thought it was an inspirational thing when I saw that. Would you like to share some of that?
Sure, no problem. Well, about 13 years ago, I lost a significant amount of weight. I was barely, I would walk and what have you, and I've lost almost close to 200 pounds. Wow. And so ever since I lost the weight, and it's doing something that I wasn't able to do at first, it just lit a fire to me. And so I started walking and exercising, and I lost the weight. And so I've been doing 10Ks, 5Ks. Wow. I'm also belong to a women's running group in the city called Black Girls Run. Right. I'm one of the ambassadors with them. Okay. And and also seeing some of my family members deal with health issues, and I've lost both of my parents to heart-related illnesses. So it's important to me to let others know the importance of fitness and healthy eating.
Okay, that's great. You, Tasha?
And for myself, like 2012, I was at my biggest, which was 265. Unfortunately, I mean, gratefully, I'm not there now.
Yes, yes.
And I just wish what I know now I knew then.
That's right.
Because my mom is I'm gonna cry. I can't be crying on TV. Is in a situation where the people I help is, if I would have got her before then, she would be in there with me doing this. Right. But she's a fighter. She's my F-150. She's strong. Okay. So for me, I wish I would have done it earlier, and I didn't. So I don't blame myself, but I'm glad because I'm gonna, I still help her, and I'm gonna help others also.
Well, I want to get kind of personal on that note because I know for myself, my mother passed also, and what you just said kind of touched me a little bit too. And for those out there in the viewing audience, if you would like to call in, please feel free to call in and have some input. If you got some questions, this is two ambassadors of RVA, Fitness Warriors on Hipliving, and we're talking about exercise and fitness in the city of Richmond, Virginia. But to get back to your point, yes, my mother passed in 2010, and so I'm kind of feeling you on that. And you, in your mind, I tell people really to be honest with you, part of what inspired me to want to go ahead and get involved in this is I was thinking about the elders and thinking about particularly people in a certain age range. I'm about 50, I'm 53 now, and how we need to be more conscious about our wellness. So that's a great thing. Yeah. That definitely is a great thing.
She's with me.
Right, she's
just recovering from a stroke, but then once that happens, it's like some go downhill, but we won't let her go downhill.
That's right. And
so
that's a blessing. Yeah, that's great.
She's here, so it just makes me on Monday night.
That's right.
Go there.
Right.
And just give them my all, and love to hear their testimonies. That they went to the doctor, and their cholesterol was low. Their insulin level has dropped. I love that because we have a testimonial part. They lost 5 pounds. They can move this. I love that. And we cry. I'm a cry.
Oh yeah. I mean,
because I'm a cry.
You're smiling over. That's good. Glad you're smiling. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Yeah, because like you said, you go through that journey as you were sharing, where you were a few years ago. Well, could you imagine yourself being here, because a lot of people sometimes say, they can imagine yourself, but it happens.
I can't. I had one of my participants in my class tell me, she told another person that I was an inspiration. A lot of them tell me I inspire them, I motivate them, and for me, I'm just I love doing it, but it also does my heart good because I know what it is to start. So if you get that fire or have someone behind you, just giving you a little bit of encouragement and motivation, that's all sometimes somebody needs, is just that one person to believe in them, that they can do it.
That's a great point you make about believing, someone having you to believe in you. And like you said, take those baby steps with you and so on, because a lot of times, and the other thing I always emphasize to people sometimes, even when they want a personal trainer, when you got a group, that experience, you want to share that with people when you got that group experience and everything. And you know, when you're with a group, again, you have people that are like a family. And the one thing, you mentioned something about the elderly, and I was doing something with Silver Sneakers, and I was going through some training with that. And one of the interesting points, and you probably come across this too, is not just about the exercise, it's something else too that you get out of that. You know, it's like when you're with a lot of the people who are elderly sometimes, you know, they might not have family or whatever like that, and it's just being there. You want to share some of that?
Because I'm everybody's daughter there, and their baby and their grandbaby, and it's just, they just have a lot of love, and they want to do it. Like, I used to train them, now they train me, sort of say.
There you go.
Because I was moving slow. So they was like, we need to move it up. And so now they move.
Right.
So they move me. So they teach the class, I'm just there. I just show up.
Yeah, because somebody told me the same thing when I was doing the Silver Sneakers. I'm going to be honest with you. It's like they give you these DVDs or videos and they're showing you stuff and you're seeing these people move around like this. They're doing this little stuff like that. But in reality, when you're in front of those elders, it's no joke. They'll look at you like, what you doing? Like, what in the world? You need to speed this thing up, you know, do the electric slide or something, you know.
I changed that music. I changed the music for them, and now we up to 5 CDs, different types of music.
Yes,
they
no doubt. Yes, no doubt about that. But but like you said, we're looking at Richmond, Virginia right now, and thanks to Sports Backers and their program and our Fitness Warriors right now, things have most definitely gotten a whole lot better. Another thing I want to mention, and I'm going to go ahead with the aging thing. And I always bring that up too, because as you pointed out, Amy, sometimes people get this idea, you know, you got to be a certain age or whatever. And I always tell people to turn the chapter. And what I'm kind of gathering from you too is sort of like, okay, it's never too late. You want to share that with the viewing audience? Yeah,
it's never too late. I always tell my participants as well as my family and friends, if you have a pair of sneakers, take it, if you can't do a whole 30 minutes, do 10 minutes at a time. Walk to your mailbox, walk up and down the stairs if you're able to. Just walk around the house, just keep it moving. That's the whole basic thing, is just keep your body moving. And so it's never too late. You don't want to get, you know, too, you know, older and your body start to deteriorate. You want to try and keep yourself active and moving.
That's right. Because people are living longer.
Exactly.
And I had a guest on my program one time who was laughing and joking about it, because you'll hear people say, well, you're going to die from something. But you end up living longer. And then you know, you're living longer, you're like, oh, you know, you're struggling and everything like that. And you really, you know, you at a point in your life when you're like 50 something and so on, and you're saying to yourself, like, hold on, what inspired you? This is what I want you to share. With you. Was there somebody in particular, like Amy, I'm sure you, a person, maybe it was a famous person or not so famous person, you kind of like looked ahead and said, you know what? Looking at this person, they 50 or 60 years old, and maybe I'm 40. You know, is there anybody in particular?
Well, for me, my mother is my inspiration. My mother, like Tasha, my mom had a stroke in 2013. And she recovered, and she came home for a while, but she declined in health. And seeing her, you know, she would still try to get back to walking with her walking cane and stuff. And she was a constant fighter. I mean, my mom was like my biggest cheerleader, and she was always an active person up until her health started to deteriorate with diabetes and heart disease. And just seeing her continue to fight and try her best until she succumbed to her illness, that's my inspiration. And I tell myself every day, if your mom can, you know, even through her challenges, give her what she could, then you can do it as well.
That's
you
right.
know, just
That's
keep
right.
putting
That's
one
right.
foot in front of the other.
That's right. That's right. You're exactly right about that.
For myself, it was myself.
Okay.
I bought a home 8 years ago, and we had no pictures on the wall. So I told my son, I only had one son, let's go and take pictures. When the pictures came back, I didn't like them.
Okay.
And I said, nobody told me I got this big. So I was my own challenge. So from that day forward, because at 260, I'd never been in the 200s.
Right.
I was 265.
Right.
And I had to do something about it.
Right.
And then I gave up, because you know how you get that standstill where you just said, nothing is happening. Okay,
Right.
all right, I'm done. And my mom,
Awesome.
my
Right.
keep going.
Keep on going.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
keep going.
awesome.
And she's a fighter, so,
Right.
and she born a fighter.
Right.
So.
Okay. Yes, like I said, and nothing with me is just a combination of different people. Like I tell people, as far as inspiration, it's almost like I can't really even name one person. I get it from somewhere everywhere, to be honest with you. And particularly when you talk about the elders and things like that, there are a lot of people out living longer. And as you pointed out, there are more examples like you. And a lot of times you don't have to look so far. You don't have to necessarily look at a celebrity, but there are people right there, and what you're doing right now is a testimony of people saying, look, you can do it. And when you mentioned something about that, just going out and walking. I got this thing that I do called just do what's in front of you.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. You just do what's in front of you. You don't necessarily have to if you can belong to a fitness center, that's okay. But there's those simple things you can do, those baby steps that you can take and everything. I want to get a little bit into also the nutritional part. What are some of the things that help you out as far as nutrition was concerned? 'Cause I know there's some people probably out there in the viewing audience. And again, please feel free to call in. I have Amy Green, and I also have Tasha Brooks on the program to talk about health and wellness, and to give you some tips and some advice on how you can live a better and healthier lifestyle.
Well, for me, I used to suffer from high blood pressure, so I constantly try to watch my sodium intake. Also, I try to watch my carbs, get in plenty of water, at least 64 to sometimes a gallon of water a day.
Okay.
Depending on if I'm working out,
Right.
throughout the day. So I just try to watch my salt intake, carbs, my fat. Just try and keep a gauge on, how many calories I'm getting every day.
Okay.
And for myself, 2 years ago, I lent red meat, and I just never went back.
Okay.
I've never ate bad. I just ate late.
Okay. Well, that's
So
true.
I just balanced it out. Broke it up in the days of little portions, and then stopped eating late. Because I would be so busy when you really don't be busy, but you be busy.
Right.
And then I get in that bed and say, I didn't eat, and it's 12 o'clock, and I'm going down there to eat a meal.
I got
So
you.
that's where that picked up from.
Okay.
So I just eliminated, change your thinking, because
Right.
all of it is a mind thing. If
There
you
you
say
go.
you want to lose
go.
weight,
There you go.
put it up there first, because everything
Exactly.
starts in the brain, and everything else will follow.
You definitely hit that one on the
Yeah.
nail, like you said. It really is a mind
Mind
thing.
thing.
And once you transform and change your way of thinking, because when it comes to food, and food is really big.
Yes.
To be honest
is.
with you.
It is.
I mean, you got the exercise part, but the food part, I think, is really tougher
Exactly.
than the exercise part because you're going to be hungry. And then sometimes we fall into the pathology when you get into the weight issue of not eating.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys learned this, that wait a minute, you have to eat really
Yes.
in order to bring those pounds down. And it's a matter of choices that you make. So, and I was noticing stuff on your Facebook page. You were very good at that, and the meals and everything. And you mentioned something about the carbs, and so yeah, most definitely when it comes to that. And what are you looking forward to as we wind down? What are you looking forward to in the future to do?
For me, I want to become certified group fitness instructor. We should be taking our exams very shortly.
Okay.
We're coming up on that.
Pray for it.
Yes. I would also like to become a certified personal trainer as well as an exercise therapist because I want to work with people that have health-related issues like heart disease
Right.
or diabetes.
Right.
And eventually I would love to I'm starting a business, and eventually I would like to grow it and eventually have my own facility that I can, people in Richmond can come to,
That's
and
right.
I can offer
That's
all, services.
Okay.
For me, it was a secret, but I guess I gotta tell. I want to continue with the elders. They can't come out, so I want to come to them at facilities. So I want to be mobile with mine.
Okay. Because that's, like you say, that's a whole lot of options when it comes to that. You know, like you being mobile, going to people. You got the boot camps, and there's so many options. When I tell people when it comes to, the great thing about where we are right now when it comes to health and wellness, there are just so many options out there for people, you know, and you pick and choose which one. You know, the conventional thinking used to be one size fits all, but that's not true. You got people who cater to what you do with the Zumba. You do Zumba, right?
Yes, I do Zumba.
Okay, with the
and
Zumba
cardio.
and everything, and what you're doing with the elderly people. So there are definitely options out there. So we're going to kind of like, we want to give people out there in the viewing audience some information on how they can get in contact with you.
Okay. Well, you can go to sportsbackers.org and click on Active RVA Fitness Warriors, and you can see the full schedule of classes. We have classes Monday through Friday, some in the evenings, some in the mornings. We have some that's on Friday mornings. Like I said, we have some in all areas: Petersburg, Hopewell, the city, Henrico, everywhere, Chesterfield, Southside. So just come out. They're all free. Fun, get fit. I teach on Wednesday at Jenner Park United Methodist. It's workout with Amy at 6 o'clock. And Tasha?
Tasha is T&T with Tasha, which is tough and tight. On Monday nights from 6:30 to 7:30 at 6 Baptist. And I have the pastor down there with me, so you know it's blessed.
All right. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, well, I definitely want to thank you for being on Hipliving, and hope to have you on in the near future. And definitely good luck in what you're doing, and you're doing a great job in inspiring and helping people. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, thank you. So we're getting ready to go into a break, and I'm going to have another guest on Hipliving. And so just stay tuned. We're getting ready to take a 5-minute break here on Hipliving, Richmond, Virginia.
All right, and we are back here on Hipliving, and I have a special guest on today's program that I've really been looking forward to having on Hipliving. And you know what? You know, we have the guest on today's program. He is a renowned Richmond novelist, writer, producer. He has a production company. He is the one and only Manny Tribulation, aka The Ghost, the original Ghost, here on Hipliving, man. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Well, where do we get started? Well, you are a novelist. You're based right here in Richmond, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
Man, you've written several books. I don't know which book to start with. I actually came across you by way of someone else, someone that has a Methodist church down over the south side, and you were doing some work.
Okay.
And he gave me your flyer right here, and I was looking at it, and I was like, wait a minute, man, I gotta check this brother out. And the first thing I did was to pick up one of your books. And I'm gonna tell you something, the people out there in the viewing audience, you really gotta check out his work. There's quite a bit, and there's so much to go over in terms of his work and everything with his books. There's a whole lot of great stuff in your books.
I appreciate that.
Based on some things that are going on in Richmond. But let's just get right to it, you as a writer. And what drove you to get into this, to do these books?
Well, I had a lot of time on my hand, first of all.
Okay.
I did some fair time.
Okay.
And I started writing in prison.
Okay.
Serving a 10-year prison sentence.
Okay.
And what really started me was pain, man. I was dealing with so many issues.
Right, okay.
And the pen was my only outlet.
I got you.
The only,
Okay,
only
I
outlet.
got you, I
So
got you.
that was the motivation.
Okay, okay. And that's interesting what you said when you talk about that pain.
Yeah.
Because what I've always heard is some of the best art,
Yeah.
some of the best creativity
Yes, sir.
comes out of going through that pain.
Yeah.
And the great thing about what I notice about your writing is how you create these stories. You know, they're real stories.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, they come from a place, they come from pain. The thing about it, though, that I wanted to get into about your
Okay.
stories, even though you say fiction, what I tell a lot of people when it comes to fiction, there's fiction and there's fictional. If you know where I'm coming from. You want to get into that a little bit?
I think every writer, the inspiration comes from real things that go on.
There you go.
Personal
Right.
life.
There you go. Fiction.
And of course, I mean, my work is so personal.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
Tribulations of a Ghetto Kid, for instance.
Right. That was your first book.
Was really based off, I really lived that book.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing about that, and what really got me with the book, now the book that I first read, the one that I got into that really, I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up real
Yes, sir.
quick if
There
we
you
can
go.
show you this one. The name of the book is called Mass Appeal. Okay. And this is the one that I zeroed right in on. And what really drew me to this book, it was very heavy on some real deep stuff regarding advocacy, regarding activism, regarding being a leader, which I thought was remarkable when
Yes,
you came
sir.
up with that character. Because a lot of times when we think of leaders, especially, let's be honest, when we talk about black leaders, we got this mold of what a leader should be. And what you did with your books, you got this particular character that comes from a place similar to what you talk about, coming from some pain in a situation, and it's almost like a calling to become a leader.
Yes,
you want to get into that? What kind of created that character where you came up with this?
Well, of course, Mass Appeal, this book right
Yes,
here.
definitely showed him that.
Man, I thought about this book several years before I wrote the book.
Wow.
Like 7 years.
Wow.
And I just want to say this first before I go
Yeah,
into
that was
it.
the first one. Yeah.
This is
thanks
actually-
for mentioning that.
This is like maybe 15 years before Mass Appeal.
Right.
So I had to get all this out the way first
It's like
to get
building
to
up
these
to
books.
this. There
Yeah.
you go. There you go. I'm glad you brought that up.
But I'm a very read brother. I like to read.
Right.
I love history.
Okay. Okay.
And these books, and this is the sequel.
Okay.
to
Now
this.
I got to get that one too.
These books were basically inspired by real life issues, things that we are going through
Right.
as a people, you know, every day, man,
Right.
in this society. You
Right.
know,
Right.
that's what brought these books about.
Right.
And the books are very heavy, very serious.
They are.
And Nat Turner, he's the main character in the book.
Right.
You know, history always repeats itself.
Right.
You know?
That's true.
And you know, as a people, man, we've been going through so much in this country, and a lot of our issues have yet to be dealt with.
Okay.
And so that's why you see, you know, when you turn on the news today, man, it's just like it's
still
war.
relevant.
It's crazy out here.
And
Yeah.
it's very relevant because the thing I'm gonna tell you, that, and the reason why I said what drew me with this, I was watching something on TV, Independent Lens, and like you, I'm into this whole history thing.
Yes, sir.
And they had something on it about the Black Panthers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I looked at this book and it said Nat Turner, and me knowing the history, when we talk about the Black Panthers and all these other groups and everything, and what got me was how you got deep into some things. And another point I want to make is instructional. Anybody out there, if you're an advocate or an activist, and this kind of like based in Richmond a little bit, it's almost one of those things, the names have to change to protect the innocent, because there's some familiarity in there.
no
Because I
doubt.
was reading some of these characters and
Yeah.
it was like, I kind of know that person a
Yeah.
little bit, or I
Yeah.
kind of, that situation, I can relate to that.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, I put you there, man.
Right.
I like to put my readers right
Right
there.
there.
You know, I want you to
Take-
feel me. I want you to
right,
feel
right.
what's really going on. You know,
Right,
I'm a, you know, my writing comes from a very deep place. You know, and like I said, man, this first novel, I wrote this novel angry.
Okay.
Literally.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
tears literally dripping down my eyes as
Okay.
I was writing. You know,
Okay.
so
Okay.
that's, you know, the motivation is deep, man.
Okay.
It's deep.
Okay, and that's definitely great. And the other thing I notice about your books is with the characters, and this really says a whole lot about your genius when you write. You got the main character, but the other thing is you got these other characters
Yes, sir.
in the book.
Yeah.
You could almost break away and take that one character and say,
Yeah.
you know what, I can break away and do a
Wow.
whole story on this character.
Man, you read these? Yeah,
So
I can
you know
see
I
you read. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And so that's kind of like what you had in mind?
Yes, sir. I mean, you know, most writers, they always have like one character, right?
Right.
One main character.
Right.
You have supporting characters, but you don't go deep into it.
I got you,
You know, I really don't see no other writer out here like me. I tried to do something
Yes.
different with my approach.
And you definitely right.
And you know, I just wanted the reader to be thoroughly entertained, you know,
Right.
and informed.
Right.
And so it's just like I can't even explain my writing process. I
Right.
just started writing,
Just right. I got you.
and you know what I mean. It just
That's
comes from a
artistry.
deep place, man.
Like you said, that's artistry. It's sort of
yeah.
like it's there, the thought that comes to you.
Yeah, yeah.
And you like, okay, you just go for
Yeah,
it. You let
yeah.
it, it's almost like a spiritual
Yes,
type
sir.
of
It's-
thing.
it's
you
deep-
know?
it's definitely
And
spiritual.
you
It's
just
definitely
let it just
spiritual.
take you on, and it's like
It's
somebody.
more of like a assignment for me. I feel like, you know, the things that I was brought from, you know, the average person, man, wouldn't have made it through.
Right.
And I just feel like this writing for me, man, it's more like an assignment. You know, it's definitely no recreation.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's definitely a great thing, like you were saying, like, and we mentioned, like you said, with these characters and everything, and you pretty much take us through the process of like how you get to these writings and everything, you know.
Yeah.
What's the process? Is there? I mean, I guess the question is this: okay, when you wrote each one of these books,
Yeah.
all right, which one of the books stand out to you as far as most memorable experience in you writing it? Probably gonna be the first one, of
Yeah,
course.
definitely the first one, Tribulations of a Ghetto Kid.
And what distinguishes them? Which, for example, because there's one in particular I want to get into too and talk to you about.
I wrote this book at 23.
Wow.
I wrote these books at maybe 30.
Okay.
So I grew a whole lot. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I grew a whole lot. I was like a baby writing this book, and you can tell the difference in the writing. You know, when you read this book and this book years later.
Okay.
And I was actually about to, because as I grew with my writing, I started looking through this book, and I wanted to start just chopping it up and editing, and taking a lot of the like curse words out.
Right.
But I said this. I want my readers to see where I was at.
Right.
I want my readers to grow with me.
There you go.
As I'm writing and growing as a writer, I want my readers to grow as well. So I kept it just like that.
That's great. That's great. I'm going to touch on something else.
Okay.
Now, this book is not necessarily fictional. It's based on a true story.
Yes,
I'm going to get to that eventually someday.
Okay.
Cold-blooded.
Oh, yeah.
Now, share with the viewing audience with us about, because that's some familiarity if you're from the Richmond area.
Yes, sir.
And we got you to that.
Cold-Blooded, the New Year's Day Massacre is actually a book that I wrote in 2006. And the book is about the Harvey family and the Baskerville family murders that happened in 2006.
Wow.
And, excuse me, my connection to the murders or the actual crime or whatever is that my family is the people who turned the actual murderers in. And I basically gave them a voice. I wrote their story because there was a lot of crazy stuff going on around that time. They were put under silence, couldn't talk about it. So I just wrote my family's story and gave them a voice, basically. And for those who don't know, man, my family is responsible for the arrest as well as the conviction of those guys. And so it's all documented in this book right here.
Okay, cold-blooded. Okay, and like you said, that happened right here in Richmond,
Right here in Richmond, Virginia. And they tried to boycott this book as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they tried to boycott this book.
Man, okay. Wow, that's something, man.
Yes,
Yeah, that's definitely. Then you have another book, Firebug.
Firebug.
Talk about that.
Firebug is, if you like Steven Spielberg, this is like a psychological thriller.
Okay.
And it's about a nurse, RN nurse. She works at a hospital, and I don't want to get the story up, but she goes through a dramatic event, man, and it's one of those books. A definite movie, man. It's one of those you have to read the whole thing through.
So you're definitely covering a whole lot of ground with this. You're doing kind of a mystery.
Fiction's best kept secret, man.
Okay, that's what you call yourself. Ghost Fiction's best kept secret. Wow,
definitely.
That's great, man.
Yeah, Black Girl Found.
Okay.
This book right here, when I was in prison.
Okay.
I wrote this after Tribulation. This was my next book.
Oh, okay.
In 2004, maybe.
Okay.
But the way I started writing this book, it was a guy on the radio. I was listening to my radio, and a lady called up, a lesbian called up, a lesbian woman called up, and she was crying to the radio host about she had cheated on a girlfriend and got pregnant, so to speak, right? So as I'm listening to it, the host asked her, so what are you gonna do? And the lady immediately said, I'm not having this thing. That's what she said about the baby, right?
Oh.
So, I'm still young, but at this time I've been in a few years, and to hear her express, the baby say thing about the baby, that joint, it hit me. Oh man, I've never been touched this way. It affected me so much that I woke up the next morning writing Black Girl Found. Wow. So that's the motivation. And this is like 4 books. This is just the first.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
That goes to show you there's a whole lot of stories out there.
Yeah, man, motivation comes from everywhere, man, everywhere.
Now, something else I want to ask you, just kind of interesting, because I don't know, maybe it's my own observation, maybe it's just me. But when we talk about novelists and where we are today, now I know in the 90s it was a little bit different. We talk about male novelists. And right now, when you say novelist, it's females mostly. What are you, from your position and where you are right now, what has changed since looking at the 90s when you talk Omar Tyree and a few other people? But then right now when you say male novelists, what do you think is going on with that?
I think we need to read more.
Okay.
I definitely think we need to read more. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be an author The only reason I have all these books right now is because I was a reader.
I got you.
Had I not been a reader, I wouldn't be an author. You know what I'm saying? So that helped me a whole lot. You know, but I don't know, man.
Which brings me to my point.
Okay.
I'm probably leading up to a point here. Something that
I knew you was up to something. Okay.
Right, because you said throw down the guns, pick up a book.
Yes, drop the guns and pick up a book.
Drop a gun, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yes, sir.
There you go, right.
Yeah.
And so what got you involved there and how's that going right now?
Well, the motivation behind the nonprofit foundation, I was a victim of gun violence. As early as 14.
Right.
At 14 years old.
Okay.
Again at 16 years old.
Right.
And I've lost countless friends, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, so many friends to these streets, to guns, to violence.
Right.
And so when I went to prison and I started writing these books, you know, I wanted to be more than just an author. I didn't want to come up off my community and, you know how some of us do. We come up and, get the money and we leave or whatever. I wanted to really have an impact on, the youth.
Right.
And I know, I did a lot of destroying out here when I was in these streets. I feel partly responsible for a lot of the things that's going on in the streets.
Okay.
So drop the guns and pick up a book, man. That was just reading saved my life, writing saved my life.
Right.
And that's my story, and I can tell that to the next youth.
Right.
And tell them and show them, man, that there's other options out here.
Right.
You don't have to be in the streets, man. You're more than just what you think you are. You know what I mean? You really a king.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely.
Yeah. So but it's needed, man. Let's look at the violence out here. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Yeah.
And like you said, the thing about a book, I think the irony sometimes with this generation is because we live in such a information age, and a lot of times when people think about getting information, it's always the internet, which is not bad. Don't get me wrong, but when you sit down reading a book, it marinates. You can carry a book with you, and it marinates. You're actually reading that story. You're reading about these people and these characters and everything. And you sit down there looking at it and you're really, really thinking about it.
Yeah.
And again, the thing that I think is so extraordinary about your books, and why I encourage a lot of people out here, and the reason why I really was hyped about having you on this program is you're local.
Yeah.
You're right here in Richmond. You're talking
man.
to the people.
Right here, man.
You're right here, and a lot of the stories you're telling, even though, like I said, I keep saying fictional, even though you say fiction.
Yes, sir.
There's so much about it, even I can relate to it. I came up in Gilpin Court, 1963 to 1980 something.
Yeah.
So that's a long time, and that whole thing that you're talking about, going through in the 90s and everything, with me, it was the whole crack cocaine thing. And here you are coming into the 90s and, in this. And it's just so great to have somebody to write about it and tell these stories. Because a lot of people just don't understand. When you're telling a story, a lot of people want their stories to be told. You follow me? And it's all right sometimes to have people tell stories, the celebrities and everything, hip hop and whatever, big celebrity. But to actually say, this is Richmond. That's extraordinary. You know?
Man. Yeah. It's a lot of, we have so much talent here, man.
Right.
That it's been overlooked.
Right.
But I'm gonna keep pushing. I won't be denied, man, because my heart is good. It's in the right place. I really care about my people. So I know we're gonna be successful out here, man.
Which brings me to this other thing.
Okay.
Your Against All Odds production company.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. What's that all about?
Against All Odds production was founded by myself.
Okay.
And basically I started because I've written so many stories over the years.
Okay.
And I just want to start making film now. I want to turn them into film.
There you go. I like
so
that.
Yeah, I bought me a camera, and that's what I do now. So I added producer to my resume now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do short films.
Okay.
Anything with film, photography, photos, interviews, whatever. I had to learn that because what I learned upon when I came home from prison, I couldn't just be an author. I had to actually brand myself.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't afford to keep paying people
Right.
So I had a nice
Learning
motorcycle. I sold that and bought a camera.
Okay.
And that's how the production the company started.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I like that. I like that. You know, like you said, you brand yourself,
Yeah.
and you're telling the stories. You got this format of telling
Yeah.
it, and then you putting it in film. And I think that ties into something else when young people see that.
Yeah, man.
You know, you right here, and they seeing you do these productions,
Yeah.
and you're like, you know what, man? Let me check that out.
Yeah.
You know, out of curiosity. You know.
Yeah, one of the things, man, I would love to take. I got so many ideas that I would love to get the schools involved with.
Okay.
So many of our youth, you know, you'll be surprised how many of our youth don't want to be in the streets.
Right.
Just like
That's
myself,
true.
man.
Right,
when I was
right.
out there, I didn't want to be there. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
okay.
But there was no positive role models where I came up at. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying? So
okay.
nobody to show me anything else. All I
Right.
saw what was around me, and that was the hood. You feel me? So
Right.
it's so many other options, and I know through creativity, writing and film, man, you know, I would love to partner with the schools, man, to start some type of film, you know, where we can get the kids involved,
Okay.
so they can actually act in the films,
Right.
You know, and you know that's something that they could add to their resume,
Okay.
You know, when they're looking for jobs.
That's
you
true.
know.
That's
yeah,
true.
so I would, you know, so I have so many ideas, man, but they need something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Because when you talk about education, people have different inclinations, and I think one of the areas, and like I'm all about the engineers and the doctors and the professional people like that. They are people, but people got inclinations and gifts.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that happened with young people, and we probably went through this as we were coming up too, something happened where it was more about testing them.
Yep.
SAL test, standardized test. But you might have an inclination to write.
Yeah.
You might have an inclination to be an engineer or mechanic. You might have an inclination to be into movies.
Yeah.
But it's all about presenting the opportunity.
Yes.
You got to put the
Yes.
opportunity right there. You got all these different options. Get the kids the options. You know, you
I
can
just
go
think, I recall very early in life, when I was in like elementary, I used to win handwriting contests.
Okay.
I used to read, love to read.
Okay.
Love to read.
Okay, all right.
But somewhere between
There you go.
that time.
Okay, wait a minute. Get her phone.
Okay.
Hello, you're on Hipliving?
Yes, this is a question for your guest.
Okay.
How would you connect with the public schools in order to get the kids motivated in film and photography and other interests? How would you do that? Thank you. Great show.
Thank you. Yes, I would try to maybe contact the school board, maybe get the teachers involved. You know, I really don't know how. You know, I know that I have great ideas and I have a talent that I would love to share with our kids. You know, our youth. If it's something that you may can help with, you know what I'm saying, or you know somebody, you know, you affiliate with the schools, you know, have them contact me and see if we can get something started, because I think that man, our youth have a lot to offer, and if the opportunities, like you said, are not, you know, there for them, then you know they're gonna look this way, that way. They're gonna find something.
They're gonna find something.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
So
There's
many,
no
so many
doubt.
vices out here. So much stuff that
Inspired,
for them to
right.
get into.
And you need that inspiration,
Yeah.
like you said.
Man, thanks for that call. That was
Yes,
nice.
yes. Thank you for calling. Okay, yeah, no doubt about that. That was a great question. Thank you for calling. And as you pointed out, where you're taking this right now really is about service.
Yeah, man.
Like you're
It's
saying,
all
you're doing
about
something.
service.
It's all about service,
Yeah.
and anything that we do when it comes to our passion is like we created to do it and
Yeah.
to pay it forward and share it. And I might even get that from a lot of your writing, with
thanks,
your
man.
characters, because they just,
Oh man,
you know.
you don't even understand. Like, you motivate me just to support,
Okay.
to purchase a book, you know, a kind word. Man, that motivate me, man. I really appreciate
Okay,
that.
yeah,
you know?
appreciate that, yeah.
Because it's hard being like
Okay.
independent out here. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
right.
So like, I appreciate everything, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's, I mean, because that's what it's all about. It's all about community and about, you know, inspiring, and, you know, it goes both ways.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely,
when
man.
you have someone like
Yes,
you writing,
yes, yes.
it helps me
basically to pursue the purpose of what I'm doing even with this program,
man,
because the thing that drove me with the program, even though, you know, my whole acronym for Hip Living, when I said healthy, inspiring, positive living, I'm heavy on the inspirational part a little bit too. And me coming across your work was like, I need to have someone on the program that's doing some inspirational things. And
powerful, man. Really,
so it really works both ways.
Grateful, man.
And like you said, with the production company and everything right now, you work. Is there a particular project right now that you're promoting right now that you'd like to share with the people out there? And by the way, give some people some information on how they can go to your website.
Absolutely. But the project, my website is Against All Odds, odds with a Z, productions.org. Again, www.againstallodds. Okay, I'll come back with that.
Hello, Hip Living.
Yeah, Hip Living.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I wanted to know how would we get in contact with him and to get his books.
Okay, he's getting ready to share that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and give them the
You
information.
can go to Against All Odds, and you spell odds, ODDV, productions.org. www.againstalodds with a Z, productions.org.
Okay, and you can also hit you up on Facebook.
Yeah,
as well.
you can hit me up on Facebook under Manny Tribulations, MANNY Tribulations, and also the project that you asked about.
Right.
Man, I got this important film in my heart, man. I want to do.
Okay.
You know, but of course, it's a film dealing with bullying.
Right.
I experienced that a lot in my life.
Okay.
And I can tell the story from a different perspective.
I got you. Okay.
And it's a story that I really want to put out. I really want to tell.
Okay.
I won't say the title to it, but
Right.
it's a really, man. I promise you, this people will be inspired by this film.
Okay.
And it's a film that is dealing with schools, so of course I have to get the schools involved. If you know, I have to do it in like a classroom type setting.
Right.
So that's like the roadblock right now.
I got you.
Just
I
getting
got you.
just
I
getting
got
like
you.
assistance.
Okay.
You know. So.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's great, because that's something that's real relevant right now and it's very big. And like you said, when you characterize bullying, because sometimes when I hear people say bullying, it's like something missing.
Yeah.
I hear what they're saying, because sometimes the stuff that when I hear people say bullying right now, kind of like, well, I don't know. But then again, as you pointed out, you coming from a different perspective.
Yeah. I mean.
I kind of feel it where you're going with it a little bit, because you know.
Yeah. I can come from a different. Why does the bully bully?
Right. There you go.
Why does the bully bully?
There you go.
That's my perspective.
Right, there you go. I got
Yeah.
you. Because like you said, everybody, they say bad kids, but then again, you never go to that house.
What's the
You know,
circumstances?
what's the circumstances that create that person?
Yeah,
and make
exactly.
them
Because
like
we so quick to look at the effect.
right.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
like the results.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to looking at what created. Well, we kind of winding down, man. I hope
Man, I wish we had more time,
I know,
man.
that's what I'm telling you, man. This is very, very exciting to have you on the program, brother. And definitely want to encourage you to do some reading out there, and check his books out. Manny Tribulation, also known as The Ghost. You can hit him up on Facebook. And he has a series of books that I encourage you to check out. Very heavy. Some of this stuff is very much in a way Richmond based, or it can be based anywhere for that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But as I pointed out to him, what I like about it is that familiarity, because some of the things that he does talk about does kind of similar to what's been going on in Richmond. And so definitely, and again, this is the last program of Hip Living, so I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to give some thanks to my director, Leroy Wilkins, for his help and doing a great job in making this happen. And definitely want to thank you, the viewers. Want to also thank Amy Green as well as Tasha Brooks for being on this episode of Hip Living. And definitely thank you, Brother Manny, for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank
for
you.
those of you out there, have a great summer. Be healthy, inspiring, positive living, hip living. Yeah, that was great.